Welcome to the highest quality conversation you're going to hear today. Welcome to the Trials to Triumph podcast. Welcome to Holy Gains Heroes. I'm Shane Hoffman.
I'm Jonathan Fan.
And I'm Brandon Moore.
This is Brandon, our special guest for episode 2, and he's got a lot of insight for today. I wish you guys do get to hear a little bit of the conversation we had. John secretly recorded it.
It's because they can get everything they want without a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so. And the Jezebel spirit is a perverted spirit which leads to the demise of men. So it brings a man down. So a man is in a position of authority not to rule, but for leadership.
Right.
A leader is not always the most dictator person, but he's the one in charge and make sure everything runs smoothly as it does. That's what happens. Exactly. Because when the police come to your house, they don't come, where's Mrs. Shane at? He comes looking for Mr. Shane because level of responsibility.
Yeah. When my girlfriend and I were talking about this the other day, I came home and she's a very traditional. I've got very lucky. I come home and the house is like spotless. Okay. The apartment. I'm like, thank you, honey, you did all this. She goes, I just got bored at school or whatever. And I just started laughing. She goes, why are you laughing? I'm like, we accidentally fit into our roles well. She goes, what do you mean? I say, well, in her brother's opinion, her brother's right. I'm like, Devi says that men lead and women love. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, at first she was kind of like apprehensive. Mm-hmm. Most women, they get kind of defensive. Like, what do you mean? Does it mean, I can't make sense? I'm like, it doesn't mean that. I'm like, put it this way. You wanted to show love to me today. How? Like, you cleaned the house, the cat box is done, because you know how hard I'm working to make sure I can take us on vacation and stuff. Gotcha. I'm like, someone breaks in here at midnight. Who's getting up to fight them?
You are.
It's not you, honey.
Yeah,
it's not you.
It's
me. It's hear a little bit of the conversation we had accidentally on record. But today is a special episode because today is all about the trials of the holidays. So in real time, Thanksgiving and Halloween have passed, and we're coming up on the holiest holiday of the year. We're coming up on Christmas, and we're coming up on Hanukkah for all my Jews out there. But this is a universal topic. This applies to the holidays next year. That includes Halloween and Thanksgiving, especially Thanksgiving. We'll get into that. And you can listen to this year after year. And if you follow these 5 tips we're going to give you today, heck, even if you follow just one of them, and I highly recommend staying around for the 5th tip because that's the most important one, you'll be successful. You don't have to hit all 5. Consistency is the key, not perfection. With that, we're going to kick off the conversation. Guys, let's get started. Let's talk about the first tip that they can use to overcome the trials of the holidays. Now, obviously, the holidays can be a hard time because they're all centered, especially in Western culture, things like Thanksgiving, they're all centered around food.
Yeah.
And it's this crazy thing where the first thing that we can do to avoid this, that people think I'm crazy when I say this, is just eat before you go to the event.
Dude, you'd be surprised how much you could accomplish by just simply preparing, right? So you come in so I think this is where it comes from. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I go through personally. I hear, make sure you come with a hungry stomach or empty stomach, you're gonna get filled. Yeah. And so you do exactly that. You wait, you put everything off, you don't eat, so that by the time the dinner is ready, you eat everything inside. And so for me personally, I drink a lot of water. I have snacks, before I hit up the event, and then that way I don't overeat when I get to the event. I don't know what about you guys?
One thing, you look at it like this. They do the same thing in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
In the grocery store, they put the most unhealthy items right where you can get them, right where you can see them. So if you don't eat before you go, it's like them bad items being right in front of you. You gotta hunger for it. You know you don't need it.
Yeah.
And the first thing you grab is the easiest thing that's available to you. And that's what that is. But if you discipline, that's a key word, discipline yourself, then you don't have to worry about falling off your goals, falling off your path, because you're already going a certain direction where you're trying to get a result. So if you come prepared, it's kind of like going on vacation. One of the things, you pack your bags, you get everything ready, but you gas up your car. You don't never go on vacation, don't eat. You're like, wow. Because you already know you got a destination you're trying to go to, so you already fill up the tank, so you're ready for whatever prepares itself to you. So it's not saying you don't eat what they present to you, but you eat before, so you prepare, so you won't overindulge. You can keep your goals.
And we could think of it like a lot of things, like food could be triggers for people, right? But when's the last time, like if I gave you guys a whole salad right now with eggs and maybe some walnuts and maybe a little bit of cheese, or just a big salad, some avocado, and then I put a slice of pizza in front of you after, is that pizza going to be as tempting as before I gave you the big salad? No, you're full. So if you eat before you go to this event, well, now those triggers, because a lot of people get triggered, like pumpkin pie, some people might love, or I love this, and your family's going to make those foods that you struggle with and you're trying to be healthier. If you eat before you go, those triggers become less triggering to you because you stopped, you prepared, and you stopped that instinct before you even got there. So the key is, why wait till there's an issue to address it? Why rely on your willpower when you're there, when you could just prevent it in the first place by making yourself full? It's like when you're at, like what you said, Brandon, that was a beautiful analogy at the grocery store. Well, if you don't buy the Snickers, if you don't buy the Kit Kats, throwback to last episode, if you don't buy the Ding Dongs, then you won't eat them, right? Because they're not there. Out of sight, out of mind. Now, maybe for you, unfortunately, it won't be out of sight because you'll be seeing it, but it'll be out of hunger because you won't want it. It's like if I were to grab you around the neck right now and choke you to death, right? You're choking. You're probably not going to be very motivated to have sex. It's not that you don't want to have sex. It's just you're dying right now, and so you're not very motivated to have sex.
Disclaimer to you too, because I know you got some things that, AI and all that. He's not saying what you think he's saying, but...
I'm not talking about the act.
You're not talking about SA or anything like that.
No,
right?
no. So we're talking about if you were being strangled and fighting for your life, you wouldn't be very motivated to do anything else except breathe.
Well, let me get a quick play here.
Yeah.
Take your hand, ball up your fist. That's the size of your stomach. So if you eat before then, how much more room do you have for that big plate at the holiday meal? And you won't take in much more. You see how big your fist is? That's how big your stomach is. And sometimes our eyes deceive us. So we see that big plate of food, for a holiday meal. They cook the best meal for you. Mm-hmm. But I always look at that analogy. Wow, that plate, all that stuff in that plate, would it be bigger than my fist?
My mom used to say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yes.
It's like...
Yeah, that was a much more appropriate analogy and one that made far more sense than mine.
I don't know where he's going with that one.
I tried to say something relatable, and most people just wrote down, get choked and have got it. No, listen to Brandon's analogy over mine. That was better. But he's 100% right. Your stomach is about the size of your fist. And if you eat a bunch of nutrient-dense foods that are going to fill you up, you're not going to be hungry to eat that bad stuff anymore. So it's just all about preparing and making sure that we're being successful. Now, if you have a family who would get offended if you don't eat their food, right? That could happen.
So what do we do when that happens? Like what?
So what we do there is we have two options here. There's tip number 2, which is to bring your own food. Mm. We'll get there, but I want to get back there because I want to talk about there's a real thing, especially in this culture where when someone has worked hard cooking for a full day, if you don't eat their food, they can get offended. Your grandma, your mom, your aunt, your uncle, your brother, whoever's cooking, right? There is another option, and a lot of people, the only reason I say this with caution is there are some of you that this isn't an option for, and because you don't have self-control. So if you're someone that doesn't have self-control, you need to be honest with yourself now.
Yeah.
But if you have self-control, this could be you, which is mindful moderation. I don't like this point for one reason. It gives people an out. Yeah. Oh, I can have the cake. It's just moderation. Here's an easy trick. If you take off your clothes now, you can step on the scale too, but I prefer the mirror as visual data. If you take off your clothes now and you can simply answer the question of, I am happy where I am, then you may permit yourself to do this. If you take off your clothes now and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're being truthful with yourself and you say, I am not happy where I am, then I don't recommend you do this because you have not developed the habits of discipline and self-control to do this. But if you have developed those habits, right, enough to where you just have a hard time overindulging, it's not necessarily you don't need sweets and you have no self-control, it's just, man, when I start, I can't stop, right?
And speaking of habits too, by the way, this is a shameless plug. We're not sponsored for this, but there's an app that you could actually track your habits. So let's just say, for example, several days leading up to, I don't know, Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever season you're in while you're watching this right now, you can download the app and you could share your habits with your friends. And so for mine personally, it would be like eat at least 180 grams of protein every day, read my Bible every single day.
What is this app called?
It's called, I think it's called Habit Tracker. And
Yeah, I gotta
send
have
the
you
link.
be my accountability buddy.
I got you, bro.
Like slap me.
It holds me accountable because every time I get a notification, it's like, yep, you gotta read your Bible, you gotta post your content. So that's what keeps me accountable, and that's what helps me to not overeat. Again, for example, my son's birthday, my youngest son's birthday is this Friday. My daughter's birthday is right after Christmas. My wife's birthday is January 5th.
It's a lot of cake.
So I have cake.
That is not sound good.
Not the one you're talking and thinking about.
Someone clip that.
That part.
But a good way to handle that is if you ever look at the form of success, a lot of success comes from delayed gratification. So one thing you could do, and it's something that I apply, is I take the cake. I'm a little older than these two, so we had this thing called Tupperware. Ooh, it's a marvelous invention. So what you can do?
You can't put it in your iPhone.
You can put that cake or that sweet into a container, take it with you.
But when you explain the reason you're doing it, it becomes more palatable. Now, here's where I understand maybe on Thanksgiving that could be an issue. I understand that maybe even on Christmas this could be an issue. But this is not just a holiday specific thing. You guys can't see him right now. He's working the camera. Trevor, he brings his own food all the time. Our camera guy, he's amazing by the way.
Shout out to the camera.
Shout out to the camera guy. He brings his own food everywhere he goes. He brought it. He went to, what was it, EDC, Trev?
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Yeah, he brought his own food. Whitefish he told a story of eating whitefish in a container. A bunch of people probably thought he was, what's this guy doing? Well, guess what? That guy looks better. He's stronger, and he's more focused than everybody there because he was willing to do what they weren't.
Yes, sir.
There was no excuse for him. There was no planet where Trevor didn't bring his food to the Mardi Gras festival.
And he goes to a few different planets, by the way.
Yeah. Especially when you're at Mardi Gras.
That's the reason why I asked all them beans.
But that's what it takes. And if you're not willing to bring your own food, good. Just eat before you go or eat in moderation. We gave you 2 other things you can do if you're not willing to bring your own food. And you know what? If you're someone who you listen to those first 3 points and you still think we're extreme and you still aren't going to be willing to do that, you know what? Fine. You're just not ready for that stuff yet? Fine. Here's one thing you can do, and nobody has this excuse. Nobody gets by. There is 0 reason why starting in October that you should stop working out and training. None. 0. Oh, the holidays. I'm going to start again after. Why? Why? Christmas is 1 day a year. Thanksgiving is 1 day a year. New Year's is 1 day a year. Halloween, 1 day. Why are we taking 3 months off for like 5 total days? It doesn't make any sense. What are you doing? What are you doing the other days?
Don't take my excuse from me.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because you feel like throughout the whole year you're working so much, you got family and all that, and you feel like where it should be like 1 day of rest, you turn that 1 day into like 5 days, 10 days, and the 10 days turns into a whole month. And so it's you not being disciplined and you not having your goals in front of you is what's causing you to be, it's a causation. Yeah. You're literally, because you don't have your goals in front of you, you're saying, all right, well, I might as well just go back to my regular habits.
Well, we mentioned this earlier. It's kind of like trying to go to a destination. You don't basically go on and off the gas accelerator in your car. You'll never arrive to your destination, and what you end up doing is you'll cause more damage to your car, you'll burn more gas. Nothing good comes from stopping and starting. The only thing that works good is consistency. Consistency is the key. If you keep going, you don't have to worry about stopping. and you arrive to your goal, your results, your journey a lot sooner than you expect to.
And now here's the beautiful part about that is consistency doesn't mean perfection. Now I don't say this to give anybody an excuse, right? You always want to give it 100%, but let's be real. There are some days you're going to wake up and you're not going to want to do it, and you know what? You might want to, and you might physically just not have it. Like you might want to squat to 150 pounds one day, and you put that on the bar, and guess what? You don't have, and that's okay. But number one, you need to do one thing: one, reflect and see what you might have done wrong. But two, be proud of yourself because you went and you tried anyway. And guess what? Maybe in that short, acute bubble, it looks like you're not winning, but weeks down the line, months down the line, that's going to build, and you're going to see the win there. Like we talked about, those long-term gratifications. So consistency doesn't have to mean perfection. But around the holidays, if you want to take Christmas off and not work out to be with your family, you should do that. I'm not going to be the guy that says to go work out on Christmas. I mean, I'm going to, but you don't have to be like me. And I'm Jewish, so I guess that's it. My girlfriend's Christian though, so I do celebrate Christmas with her and her family. But if you want to be the person that takes Christmas off to spend your holiday, of course. But do you need to take Christmas week off?
No.
You don't. You have at least, well, what's 7 minus 2 guys? 5 other days to work out. Yeah, Christmas Eve. I counted Christmas Eve in there. You don't even need the full day of Christmas Eve. Let's be real. You just need the evening. So you could do it in the morning, but I'm giving you some slack here. So you got 5 other days that week. There's zero reason. And the more, this is really some food for thought. The more you stop and start, the longer you're just going to keep spinning that wheel. Versus if you just started and you didn't stop, you wouldn't have to stop and start each year. It would just be automatic for you now. You get to a point, and everyone in this room knows it because we're all here now, where it's not even like it's not even like a comfort. It's just part of you. Like it's like if you didn't brush your teeth. That's what it's like. It's your personal hygiene. That's all it is now to these guys and me. It's our personal hygiene. It's not. I never asked them, "Did you work out today?" I know they worked out today. That's like me asking them, "Did you brush your teeth this morning?"
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Like this morning, I'll be 100% transparent. I was sharing this with Brandon earlier. I messed up pretty big today, and I did not wake up at 4 a.m. and start walking, reading my Bible and praying. As a matter of fact, I didn't feel like, bro, I was so, my body, I was listening to my body, I'm like, so 6 o'clock hit, boom, kids getting ready for school, wife left to take the kids to school, 7 o'clock hits, 8 o'clock hits, I'm like, yo, this is not like me. It's not like me. But here's one thing I did do. And it started raining too, by the way, so I'm like, I could have the excuse like, oh, it's raining, because I walked to the gym, by the way, to maximize my steps.
He does, I've seen him do it.
And and he's clocking my teeth. But so I'm like, nah, I'll just wait. And here's the thing, again, shameless plug. God knows what he was doing because he allowed me, he says, he gives rest to the weary, right? And so I was resting, and in that resting, I was able to really, really rest. See, most people, when they have rest, they still end up doing some active recovery, which is fine. But I believe you generally have to fully rest, and I needed that long period of rest because I don't remember the last time I actually truly had like 8 hours full or 9 hours full of full rest, no moving, no nothing. And so I started to walk around, I want to say noonish, and the rest was history. I was still able to get my steps in. I was still able to work out. I still got my workout, and I still did things that I needed to do. Like I still got stuff done. It was just a little bit later. And it goes back to your point saying like, it's ingrained in me. Like I couldn't go the whole day without working out, period. You see what I'm saying?
Well, you ever thought about this? And we see this concept always with basically battery charged cars. I don't want to call out no particular model. But if we
not
look,
a Tesla.
we don't want to say no names. But you ever notice that you don't drive them when you're charging them?
Right.
They have to be charged before they can be used. And
That explains the accents.
And what we're trying to tell you is yes, be active, but there's a recharging period you need.
And that
I like that.
I like that. And my background in exercise science, this doesn't apply to. This might apply to some. For those of you that are dialed in here and you have a hard time taking a rest day, if you're like us and you'd rather get shot in like the ear than take a rest day, because it's that painful.
Shout out to Donald Trump.
Yeah, shout out to Donald Trump.
Shout out to President
He
Trump.
took a hit in the ear. Let's go.
We have nothing to do with it, but we're just using an example.
If you were shot, if you were shot, whoa, wait. No, if you were tired, if you were someone, oh my God, if you are someone who struggles with, like, you're dialed into the point of where like you can't take a rest day, let me tell you this, all right? If you're someone who struggles to work out, this has nothing to do with you. But if you're someone who is dialed in and actually is to the point where you are obsessed, which is a good thing, by the way. I'm not saying bad. It's a good thing. Rest is going to do you more good than a half-assed workout. But this is one caveat here. This is only if you're like, you know who you are. You're dialed in. Meaning it's been years and you've been on the grind and you know you're dialed in at that point. You need to start, and we're going to have a whole episode on this because it's a faith and fitness show, right?
Yeah.
On proper rest and recovery, which isn't talked about. And we're going to dive into that, right? But I think it's a good opportunity to highlight that because, no, I'm not that guy that's just going to tell you to go blow out your body and I don't care if you got an hour of sleep. You need to go do your thing anyway. No, it's about consistency, right? Don't be like, I got 3 hours of sleep, man. I'm hungover and I'm still going to go squat 300 pounds anyway because that dude, short dude with a beard and a tattoo on the internet said, no, don't do that. The short dude with a beard and a tattoo did not tell you to do that. He said to sleep in and recover and then go back to the gym when you feel good.
Don't stunt your growth like that either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did I stunt my growth? That was a preview. I'm going to go with that's the reason I'm showing. But
a good segue though, because like keeping your body moving, basically.
The keeping the body moving. That is, they're back on track. There's no reason for you to stop, right? And we this brings us to our final point, and this is the most important point on this list. And this is one that we all talked about, and we wanted to save it for last because this gets so mixed up. Especially, it's a culture and a society thing, which is the holidays are so focused around food and consumption, we forget it's not about consumption; it's about connection. Yeah. And you're not doing Christmas to eat. Heck, you're not even in Thanksgiving to eat. I know some people hear that. It's like they just like, oh, what do you mean?
That's exactly why I came to.
I came for the turkey and the mashed potato. No, you came for the people that you love.
Yeah.
And
you might say that you don't love him, like, oh man, I hate Rodney, man. He always talks about the same thing, politics and all that stuff. I don't want to hear it again. We understand that, but
you're there with people you
connect
care
them
about.
anyways.
Yeah, and that's a different conversation. Now you need to go like get aligned with some people with your values that you actually love and want to spend time with. That's a whole other conversation. But you're there to spend at the holidays to spend time with your family. Which, guess what? You can talk more if you're not shoving things in your mouth constantly. Oh God, that's gonna get clipped.
Don't worry, we'll pray for him.
We'll lay hands on them too. Lay hands. There will be deliverance.
You are there to spend time with those you love. Yeah. Whether food is present or you should be grateful and pray that the food is there and give grace to God and be grateful to God that you have food 100%. Yeah. But it's not about the food. It's about the people there enjoying the meal together. Yeah. It's the connection overall. Yeah. The holidays aren't about food. Halloween, the fun part wasn't getting the candy and eating the candy. The fun part was, for you now, it's taking your kids, right, around trick-or-treating. For me, it's still trick-or-treating, You
pass as a kid.
Exactly. I can pass as a kid. I'm your kid.
That's so funny. Well, the thing about connection is that we're here, no man, woman, or anyone is an island. We all need each other. And if you look at it, it says, bad company corrupts good morals. Well, I want to put a different spin to it since it's two sides to a coin. What can you learn from each other to help each other grow? Yeah. Because what we feed grows and what we starve
dies.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So if we are feeding our connections, we can make them stronger. And when we're stronger together than we are apart. So it's good to have effective communication. And one of the biggest part of communication is understanding. How can you gain understanding if you're not communicating?
Seek to understand before being understood.
It's one of the 7 habits of the highly effective people. By the way, you can go ahead and find that book on Amazon. We'll drop the link right here. It's one of the books that really changed my life. Other than the Bible, there's 7 habits of the highly effective people. And by the way, my wife's school, they teach those habits. It's called Leader in Me. And those habits right there, seeking to understand. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else will be added on. So it's just all about really seeking to understand for clarity.
It's funny you say that because that book is I've read that book. I'm so happy your wife. It's funny how your wife teaches that very high quality book, and it's funny because we're actually all wearing these very very high quality shirts.
Oh wow! Look!
Yeah, look at that. We're all wearing them. We're all matching.
Yeah.
I'm the only one in the black one.
It's okay.
That's okay.
They call them black sheep.
I'm the whitest one here. But if you guys are looking for high quality level clothes and you're really into your faith, no one has done it as good as these two do. They started the business together. I'm just a happy customer. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just incredible quality stuff, and the message on it. It's the message of faith. It's the message of fit, which I'm going to let John explain because no one explains his mission, his message better than him. But if you guys wanted to go to that website and pick it up, I mean, you're not going to get better quality clothes with a better quality message. I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's FITWITFAN, so fit with fan. And the mission is very simple. You got to do whatever it takes to get fit, which is faith, integrity, and transformation. So if you're someone that wants to flex your faith, if you're someone that is basically tired of being where you are currently right now because your circumstances doesn't define your future. And so if you acknowledge where you're at right now and you look at the things above and look at the things that are unseen, because the things that are unseen is eternal, the things that you currently see right now is temporary. If you look at those things and you just keep your faith grounded, I'll tell you this, the reason why I'm here today is because I made a decision to follow God, because there was a time that I was just basically lost. I mean, there's a lot that I want to share in the future, but there's a story that there's at some point in my life, man, I was sleeping on the couch, and I'll never forget this. I was, father of 2 at the time. A lot that we can get into later on. I get emotional a little bit just talking about it, but just know that if you're someone that you're in a situation right now that you're not satisfied where you're at and you want to keep pressing forward and keep pushing on, then this is the brand that you want to rock with. Or if you're not that person and you know someone else with, but this is the type of brand that you rock when you know that you're ready to flex your faith, you're serious about making a transformation, you're serious about putting God first.
Absolutely. The message couldn't be better, and I'm telling you guys, the comfort on this thing couldn't be better either.
And he's an influence too.
Yeah, influence on the hood. Yeah. I love that. That's what you're doing. Guys, thank you. This was a special holiday edition. For episode 3, we're going to be getting into a lot more faith stuff, some more fitness stuff, of course, and going over John and I's personal stories that intertwine with that. Thank you for joining us for this special edition. Listen, it's possible to make it through the holiday season and be the best, fittest, happiest, most confident version of yourself, but no one can do it but you. If we helped you, I'm glad, but we can't make the decision for you. We can inspire you, but we cannot force you to make the changes to be better. Take this holiday season as an opportunity to be the best version of yourself, be there for your family, and make sure to show them what it is that we're supposed to do to live a good and happy life. Thank you guys for joining us on episode 2, and we will see you guys next week.
Awesome. And by the way, YouTube actually suggested this video right here, so I suggest you watch it because apparently they thought that you would like this. So go ahead and watch this right here.
You too.
YouTube.
And stay tuned. We're going to have a professional wrestler coming on the podcast in a few weeks too.